Meet Max, explorer, nutritionist, and risk taker. His passion for photography started a couple years ago when he came to Toronto to study.
My name is Max Whitehead. Came to Toronto 4 years ago, and I lived in residence. It was all about school, meeting new people, and building new relationships, coming to a completely new city, right? Those relationships, they've really had an impact on my life course since then, and those friends, watching those friends create and enjoy Toronto, experience Toronto in a way that I hadn't before, that's what really inspired me to go and pick up a camera myself and see Toronto in a new way. Every time I get up and shoot sunrise, it's always a good day. And there's no better way for me to create, to set goals and achieve those goals throughout the day than to get up early and shoot some beautiful light, see some beautiful people. The morning, right? Everybody's hustling, going to work. One thing about the morning is it's just the way that the sun is shining. Rising above Toronto, reflecting off of buildings, reflecting off of people. It's all about the light. That's what makes a photograph. And most of the time, those morning shoots, even if it's by myself, it's a way you can see the city that you don't usually get to. How often do you grab your camera and get up early for sunrise?
As an artist, you're always told there's just one photo that can change your life. It's something you can't predict. You never really know how true that statement is until it happens to you.
The photo was first tweeted out by somebody on Twitter. And after that, that tweet finished off with 125,000 likes or something ridiculous like that. From Twitter, it was cross-posted to Reddit. It went absolutely nuts on Reddit. It hit the #1 post on the front page. It had millions and millions of views. And somebody was diligent enough to give me the proper credit for it. By the end of the day, I was going viral on several social media platforms, and I started gaining thousands and thousands of followers in just a span of only a few hours. We were shooting as a group. I was with a few friends. I think we were out since 2 p.m. that day. And as soon as the snow started to pick up as it got dark out, we spent more time out there shooting as much as we possibly could. And around 1 a.m. when we were about to call it a night, I had this idea, let's go to Dundas Square. Let's get this one shot that I kind of want. So we went there, got the composition that I wanted, had my settings dialed in, and just had to wait for somebody to cross the road into my frame. A few days after the fact, I got an email from Toronto Life who wanted to do a profile on me. So we set up a phone call, we talked for a little bit, and within a few days of that, the article went live. I mean, when you get such a high volume of traffic to your page, it's hard for things to not change after that, right? What can I say? We're in a gallery. That's pretty surreal. The owner reached out to me. I got featured on Toronto Life back in January or February, I think. And the owner reached out to me after that. I met with him for coffee. He said, I've got this gallery, I got this art space. I'm just wondering if you want to come by and throw your prints up on the wall. And you could also bring in another friend and kind of do like a joint exhibit here. So the first person I thought of was Max. So I stepped out of the coffee shop and first thing I did was call Max and hey man, what are you doing? He's like, do you have a second to talk? Because we've got a really cool opportunity coming up right here. And here we are.
As Instagram photographers, everything is just all on the internet and looked at through a phone. So this is really cool for me especially, and Lucan, I'm sure as well, to finally see like all these pieces in a physical, tangible form rather than behind a screen. Setting up a gallery, that was a first for both of us. Neither had ever done anything close to that. So at first there was a lot of like feelings of extreme excitement and oh my gosh, is this actually happening? We're gonna put our pieces together in an actual physical space and our photos are gonna be hanging on the wall. After I decided on all of my 7 pieces that I wanted to display, I had them test printed and I got them all in, and I was like extremely displeased with how they looked. Like, what's wrong with this print versus what I'm seeing on the computer, what I actually like? How I have to change the image that's I'm already satisfied with on the computer to make that transfer to the printed image. I had to go back and tweak all of those colors and all those settings that I had on the computer. So that took several tries back and forth to get right. Putting the whole thing together was far more difficult than I originally thought.
After a long day of preparation, Max and Lucan have done all they need to do. The stage was set, the photos were hung, and in 6 hours, they were returned to the gallery opening.
So we're heading to the Cavalcade of Lights right now. Trying to get here as early as I can to get a spot and hold it down for the next 5 hours or so. It gets pretty crazy here with photographers and tripods kind of everywhere. So I don't know, I've been coming here for the last couple years and kind of try to make sure I get here and get my spot, because I don't know, I have this thing about shooting this and I gotta always be dead center, and if I'm not dead center, it just doesn't, the shot to me isn't right. But this looks like it's locked off right now. You know, we found a spot that's dead center, Toronto sign. So we're just holding this down for a little bit, hoping that they open up the upstairs and kind of get the view that I want. So we'll see. There's something about, I think, like working for the shot at events like this. Same with like Nuit Blanche, you know, where there's like tens of thousands of people out on the street. You kind of got to work through the chaos of all of that. Same with shooting, you know, the Cavalcade of Lights. There's something about getting here 5 hours early, making sure I get the right spot. And then at the end of the day, you know, when you go home at night and you take a look at your shots and you start working with it, and you actually have something that you're extremely happy about. And then staying up, you know, pulling an all-nighter after that to get the edit right, and posting something at like 7 a.m. when, you know, everyone's kind of waking up. it's a really good feeling when you know that like you worked that hard for that shot, and you worked that hard for something that other people are gonna kind of take in and enjoy. It's a good feeling in that.
Toronto's got a very strong photography community, and every so often, throughout the years, there's been several things called Instagram meetups where a bunch of these photographers get together, connect with each other, shoot around, have fun, find new spots, learn new things. I absolutely love it. Even though I've been in this community for so long and I feel like that I know everybody around me, I meet new people every single time, and they've always got something new to teach me. The photography communities, they exist everywhere, and these Instagram meetups, they exist everywhere. But in Toronto specifically, there's just something about this community where they all come together and we just all inspire each other. We just bounce off each other for more inspiration. It's this feedback loop. Instagram meetups are the perfect time to get everybody together and really, provoke creativity in the community like that. I remember on my very first Instagram meetup, it was hosted by one of the top photographers in Toronto, and I was still this guy who's learning how to hold a camera. And I had a great time at that meetup, and I told myself, one day I'll be able to bring people together like this myself. Having a much larger following allows me to reach newer people that aren't necessarily a tight part of the community as we all are, and it allows them to get out, meet these new people, get themselves inside the community. It's just an inspirational event all around. The thing that stresses me out the most is seeing those people that show up just by themselves and they're kind of on the outskirts of the group, not really connecting with anybody. I feel like that's my responsibility to try to connect those people and try to get them making new friends, because, I was once one of those people myself. I changed a life.
Yes!
To get that out of the shot.
Come on, see you later, bro.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. Sorry we couldn't talk more.
Girl, get out of there.
As a photographer in Toronto, there's always kind of this subconscious push to find something new, something unseen. And one of the ways that I discovered that's possible is from up above. Coming here as a young child, Toronto was like it was the biggest city I'd ever been to. I hadn't been to anything like it before. I remember my mom and I, the first time I came here, we went up into the Cine Tower and we had lunch up there, and it's just like unimaginable how you could be up that high looking out over a massive city. To find these places that most people have never been, you have to do things that most people have never done. Every building is like a puzzle. Some are harder than others, and some may never be solved. But one thing's for sure, there's always a reward at the top. I go on rooftops for the feeling and the freedom it gives me. The rebelliousness and feeling like I'm doing something that I shouldn't be is kind of attractive, and knowing that people just floors below me are spending millions of dollars to have that penthouse view of Toronto, I can get it for free. Over the 4 years that I've been here, quite literally, Toronto has changed by a measure of meters tall quite significantly. There's cranes all over the skyline, new buildings coming up everywhere you look, which for rooftoping is quite an opportunity. Toronto for me has changed significantly in 4 years. When I first came here, I didn't know the city, I didn't know any people. I didn't know my place in Toronto. And over time, building relationships, building my passion for photography, I've started to kind of learn where I fit in.
Meet John. Tonight, John is gathering people from all over Toronto for the Halloween-themed meetup. But unfortunately, his plans are getting ruined because he's missing the most important part: the light.
So right now we're on Underpass Bridge, or at this moment we're waiting for the lights to turn on, and hopefully they will be turning on. And everybody's cold right now because Toronto is fall and winter right now, so hopefully everything goes wild, and catch you later.
All the photographers and models are now stuck in the rain waiting for the light to turn on. John invested a lot of his time in this creative project, but unfortunately, this hiccup might ruin all of his work.
I like looking at the city lights slowly overtake the sky as the sun sets. They become brighter. All the colors on the horizon. All the people down there are just like little ants. I mean, I've seen better sunsets, but this is pretty nice. Nothing to be upset about. There always needs to be some clouds for all the drama to go down, all the crazy colors. This is nice though, you can just see like that gradient on the horizon.
Hopefully they answer my call and do something about it. Park. What time is the light supposed to be on at night? Underpass Park. Skate park? Near waterfront? No, they're not. They're off. They're all off right now. There's a bunch of people here waiting for light. Okay, thank you so much. So they said half an hour it should be on. She's gonna call the operators to turn it on. So hopefully it actually turns on, and I really, really want it to go on. Cause this meet isn't over, it has to go! There will be light, there will be light. Let there be light.
While someone is on the brink of failure, others get lucky to be in the right place at the right time.
So it's 5 on the money, and we finally made it upstairs and got lucky enough to get like perfectly centered on that Toronto sign. There's already like 8 tripods up here, so got lucky we made it up here in time.
When the sun is gone and the night is out, it's time to introduce myself. My name is Bora, and I'm a photographer. Photography has been one of those things that's been indispensable. And at the end of the day, that's my escape. Shooting in the snow is something that you can't really replicate any other time of the year, simply because of the atmosphere that you get in your shots.
You know, right when the day changes into night, it's one of those interesting intersections of time where, you know, people kind of go from their day-to-day into a sort of a more kind of private mode. You get more genuine moments out of people. People are more off guard. That's why night is the way to go.
As the weather gets more inclement and more dreary, the end product ultimately ends up being more dramatic. Shooting in conditions where people typically stay indoors is my ideal time to shoot. And, you know, when you go shoot photos, you don't really need to think about it, right? There's no pressure, there's no accountability, there's just you and the camera and whatever you're shooting, which is usually the city. Shooting Toronto in the winter, especially when it snows, is one of those things that just reveals the hidden aspects of the city. And the photos that you catch are just incredible. This city has been a constantly evolving thing, like a living organism, and all of the different things that are within the city are changing with it as well. Streetcars have been one of those things where they've been the staple and the fabric of the city. And we're seeing that change, and it's an evolution. Not a lot of people see it as such.
Please look right for traffic when exiting.
My style is definitely a reflection of my personality, and you know, Gotham, dark, cinematic feel is something that I always try to implement in my photos, whether that's a night shot or a day shot. And I think that's one of those things that contributes to my style. Sometimes you don't get the shot that you were hoping to get, but you always find what you were looking for. So even your typical scene or your typical frame that everybody captures has a special thing that's associated with it. You just have to be patient enough to give it a chance to come out.
Let there be light. So events like these is usually important because they want to bring out the people in the city that's very creative, with a creative mindset, wants to meet and collab with other people, and this is a good way of doing it.
These fireworks are gonna start in like 10 minutes, and it's pouring rain out here. Thought about bringing the umbrella.
It's not even a small light rain, it's actually raining.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough to shoot in right now, but whatever, you know, it is what it is. Part of the experience, I guess.
Part of the experience to get sick, you know?
Yeah.
It's never a good idea to be late for your own show. Max just realized it's going to take him quite a while to get to Resonance, and he might be a little late.
We were hoping for a good turnout, but really had no real expectations as to what was going to happen. I was going to be late to the show. There was like 20 minutes until it was due to start and the doors were opening.
Please stand clear of the doors. The doors are closing. Stand clear of all the doors.
Shit, man, we got to make it. 4 more stations. So we've got 7 minutes, now 6 minutes before the gallery starts, and we're a decent distance away. I hope I don't show up after
The next station is
any of the guests.
Ossington Station.
That would be bad. I think we gotta run. So I was trying to get there, and I remember just wondering to myself if anybody was even going to show up, or if it was just going to be Lucan and I standing there looking at our pieces, eating jubes and drinking a beer together. I was a bit worried. Like, we put a lot of work into it, so if only a few people showed up, I mean, that's the way it would have gone. It still would have been an awesome experience, but I never would have imagined that it turned out the way that it did. I was afraid that nobody would show up, but I was so wrong. Through a passion for photography, Lucan and I created a community of friends where we all inspire each other. We follow each other's work, we give each other feedback. Our friends' great photos encourage ourselves to create great photos. Just in general, for ourselves to become better photographers, we all work together for the betterment of the entire community.
Dude, what is going on? Thanks for coming.
Over the last several years, I've taken risks. I've climbed up high. I freeze my butt outside. My fingertips are numb. Just for that shot. All that for a single moment. I appreciate all the photographers that inspire me and those that have made me the photographer that I am myself today. I appreciate my friends, and I especially appreciate my family that came all the way to support me on such a big day. It was an amazing feeling to see all these people come out to support Lucan and I. Them taking the time and expressing their appreciation for the work that we did, it really made it all worth it, and it made that night one of the most memorable in my life. It's an incredible feeling when the public comes together to see the work of Lucan and I and what we've created. This is really why I do it.